A day like any other, passengers moved through the bustling airport, unaware of the fate that awaited them. Families hugged their loved ones goodbye, business travelers checked their emails, and children excitedly looked out the windows at the planes. The atmosphere was filled with the usual mix of anticipation and routine. Blue skies, sunshine, the perfect day for flying. The plane ascended smoothly, cutting through the air with ease. Passengers settled into their seats, some reading books, others watching movies, and a few dozing off. The flight attendants began their service, offering drinks and snacks. Everything seemed normal, just another routine flight. Then, disaster. Flight 521, a routine journey, turned into a nightmare. Without warning, the plane began to shudder. Panic spread through the cabin as oxygen masks dropped from the ceiling. The once calm and serene atmosphere was replaced with chaos and fear. The pilot struggled to regain control, but it was too late. The plane plummeted towards the ground, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. Metal screaming, fire in the sky, a tragedy etched in memory. The plane broke apart mid-air, pieces of debris scattered across the landscape. Flames engulfed the wreckage, painting the sky with a haunting red glow. The sound of metal tearing and the cries of passengers filled the air. It was a scene of utter devastation, one that would be remembered for years to come. Lives lost, questions lingered, what happened, why? Families gathered at memorial sites, holding on to each other for support. Investigators combed through the wreckage, searching for clues. The black box was recovered, offering a glimmer of hope for answers, but the pain and loss were palpable. The world watched and waited, desperate to understand how such a tragedy could occur. The investigation would take months, but the memories of that fateful day would last a lifetime. Amidst the wreckage, a beacon of hope. The black box, a silent witness, promising answers to unbearable questions. It held the secrets, the final moments, the truth, or so they thought. Data downloaded, analyzed, examined, something was wrong, the data, it didn't make sense, contradictions arose, the black box lied. Inside the box, a story untold. The cockpit recorder, whispering secrets, pilot's voice, calm, collected, then panic. A chaotic symphony, alarms blaring, a struggle for control. Mayday, mayday, we're going down. Section 2, a chorus of confusion. News spread, like wildfire. The world watched, in horror. Questions arose, demands for answers. But the answers? They didn't add up. Eyewitness accounts differed from the recording. Something wasn't right. Section 3, the data doesn't lie, or does it? Experts huddled, analyzing, dissecting every bit of data. Altitude readings, erratic, speed fluctuations, unexplained. The evidence was clear. The black box was compromised. Section 4, shadows of doubt. Suspicions arose. An act of terror, corporate sabotage, or something more personal. The investigation took a dark turn. Someone had gone to great lengths to hide the truth. The best minds, assembled, tasked with unraveling the truth. A seasoned detective haunted by cases he couldn't crack. His intuition whispered this was different. Every piece of wreckage scrutinized, examined for clues, interviews conducted, witnesses questioned, stories corroborated, but the mystery deepened. The black box, a digital fortress. But every fortress has a weakness. Data analysts working tirelessly to breach its defenses, they searched for inconsistencies, for anomalies, for signs of manipulation. Hours turned into days. The pressure mounted, but they wouldn't give up. Then a break. A tiny anomaly hidden deep within the code. A digital fingerprint left behind by whoever tampered with the box. The anomaly. A digital ghost. A trace left behind by the saboteur. It was a clue, a thread to unravel the truth. The The investigators now had a lead, a way to expose the lies. The digital trail led them on a chase across continents, through servers and hidden accounts. They uncovered a network of shell companies and aliases, all pointing to a single entity. The motive became clear, a cover-up of epic proportions. The airline, facing bankruptcy, had cut corners on safety to save money. They silenced anyone who dared to speak out. The CEO, the mastermind, he thought he was above the law, but the investigators were closing in. The evidence was overwhelming, his lies unraveling. Justice was coming. Time was running out. The CEO knew the game was up. He had to act fast, destroy the evidence, silence anyone who could link him to the crash. He was desperate and dangerous. Section 2. The walls close in. The investigators were always one step ahead. They meticulously pieced together every clue, every fragment of evidence, and every witness statement. Their dedication was unwavering and their resolve was unbreakable. The walls of their command center were plastered with photos, maps, and notes, each one a piece of the puzzle they were determined to solve. They anticipated his every move. With each step he took, they were right behind him, watching, waiting. Their surveillance was relentless, utilizing the latest technology to track his every movement. They knew his habits, his routines, and his patterns. They had studied him so thoroughly that it was as if they could predict his actions before he even made them. They cornered him at a private airfield as he attempted to flee the country. The tension was palpable as police cars sped towards the airfield, their sirens blaring. Officers surrounded the small private plane, their weapons drawn, ready for any sudden movements. The SWAT team approached the hangar with precision and caution, their training evident in every step they took. His escape plane was taxiing on the runway, ready for takeoff. The pilot, unaware of the unfolding drama, went through the pre-flight checklist, his hands moving swiftly over the controls. The airplane wheels rolled smoothly on the tarmac, gaining speed as it prepared to lift off. The roar of the engines filled the air, a stark contrast to the tense silence of the officers closing in. But it was too late. The officers moved in swiftly, their training and coordination evident in their actions. They arrested the man near the plane, his attempts to resist futile against their combined strength. He was handcuffed on the runway, the realization of his failed escape evident in his eyes. Police cars blocked the runway, ensuring there was no chance of a last-minute getaway. The walls had indeed closed in and there was no escape. Section 3. Justice Prevails. The trial was a media frenzy. The courthouse was surrounded by a sea of reporters, each one eager to capture the latest development in what had become the trial of the century. Cameras flashed incessantly, and journalists jostled for position, hoping to get a glimpse of the key players as they entered and exited the courtroom. The public's interest was piqued, and the case dominated headlines for weeks on end. Inside homes, bars, and public spaces, people gathered around televisions, hanging on every word of the news anchors who reported on the trial's progress. Families discussed the case over dinner, and strangers debated the evidence in coffee shops. The world watched as justice was served. The trial had become more than just a legal proceeding. It was a cultural phenomenon that captivated the collective consciousness of society. The stakes were high, and everyone had an opinion on the outcome. The evidence was irrefutable. The prosecution presented a mountain of documents, witness testimonies, and expert analyses that painted a damning picture of the CEO's actions. The defense tried to counter with their own arguments, but the facts were too overwhelming. The CEO was found guilty on all counts: manslaughter, obstruction of justice, and fraud. His empire crumbled, his legacy tarnished. The judge's gavel came down with a resounding thud, sealing the fate of a man who once seemed untouchable. As he was led away in handcuffs, the courtroom buzzed with a mix of relief and satisfaction. Justice had been served, and the message was clear. no one is above the law. Outside the courthouse, a crowd had gathered, some holding signs demanding justice, others showing support for the victims. Emotions ran high as the verdict was announced. Tears of relief and joy were shed by those who had been directly affected by the CEO's actions. For them, this was not just a legal victory, but a personal one. The trial had been a long and arduous journey, but the outcome provided a sense of closure and vindication. The public's faith in the justice system was reaffirmed, and the case became a symbol of accountability and the power of the law to bring even the most powerful individuals to justice. The aftermath of the trial saw a flurry of media activity. News outlets ran headlines about the verdict, and social media was abuzz with reactions from people around the world. Legal experts were interviewed, offering their insights into the case and its implications for future corporate accountability. The trial had set a precedent, and its impact would be felt for years to come. It was a reminder that justice, though sometimes slow, is ultimately inevitable. The CEO's downfall served as a cautionary tale for others in positions of power, reinforcing the idea that ethical conduct and transparency are paramount in the corporate world. In the wake of the verdict, the CEO's once thriving company began to unravel. The office that had once been a hub of activity now stood eerily quiet. The company logo was dismantled, and employees were seen leaving the building, their futures uncertain. The ripple effects of the trial were far-reaching, affecting not just the CEO but everyone associated with his empire. It was a stark reminder of the consequences of unethical behavior and the importance of integrity in business practices. The story of the trial and its outcome would be told and retold, serving as a powerful example of the enduring strength of justice. Section 4. A haunting truth. The black box that lied exposed the darkness hidden beneath the surface of corporate greed, a stark reminder that some truths are buried deep, and sometimes those truths cost lives. The truth, it came, at a cost, lives lost, families shattered, trust betrayed, the pursuit of the truth revealed a darkness few could have imagined. The black box, a symbol of our faith in technology. But what happens when that faith is shaken, when the machines we trust are manipulated for nefarious ends? The case of Flight 521, a wake-up call, a reminder to question, to investigate, to never blindly accept what we are told, even when it comes from a machine. The black box that lied left us with more than answers. It left us with questions about the systems we rely on and the lengths some will go to control them.